You saw the title of the video. You clicked on that thumbnail. I know why you're here. You are here because you want to learn how to build up your video game collection on a budget. And I'm here to teach you how, because we don't gatekeep over here. I want all of you guys to thrive and love your collection on a budget. So I'm going to teach you how. But first, I need to give you a little bit of my background so that you can know my credentials. Hi, I'm Uirigame, and I'm a super casual gamer, meaning I am not out here playing video games every single day. I'm more or less watching people play video games every single day because I'm in school, I had work, I wasn't out here collecting. I'll buy a game every now and again since 2017, 2019, but the thing is, the market has changed. You can't affordably buy video games like you could before COVID, and things are just going to keep getting more expensive as the year go by. So I'm here to teach you guys where to go to find really good deals for video games and how you can build up your video game collection. First, I'm going to start with the two video games I have that you can't really buy cheaply anymore. So I have Super Princess Peach on the DS. I bought this game, I believe, in 2019. I still haven't played it. I have it CIB, like all the inserts, the manual, the game is in here. Super clean copy. Can you buy this game affordably? No, because if you check eBay or you go to your local video game stores, I guarantee you they are selling this game like maybe 50 to one store. I saw this bitch going for $70. So, can you affordably buy this game now? Probably not unless you do your heavy research. So, I bought this game online, probably either Mercari before they added all those fees, or probably Poshmark. Mercari is no longer my go-to for like buying games or even like my plushie collection anymore ever since they added all those fees. I'll go there every now and again if the deal is good enough. But honestly, I would try probably Poshmark. I would try Poshmark for video games because you'll find less resellers there because Poshmark is mainly for like jewelry and designer stuff. And honestly, with that being said, you can also find some video game stuff at pawn shops that specialize in like the luxury higher end stuff because that's not their main thing to sell. So you might find some video games cheap there. Would you find them CIB like this? Probably not. Now this game, I picked it up at half price, maybe like 2019, 2020. Well, no, maybe not 2020. I don't remember, but I remember picking this game up at half price a few years ago, and the price wasn't that expensive. In fact, this was just on the shelf on their little bookshelves. It wasn't behind the glass case where they have the higher end games. So this was like a very clean copy that I saw, manual and everything. I just saw that it was made by Capcom. I saw the little character here. I saw Jill Valentine back here, and I'm like, I might as well pick this up. And I did. You know what? It had to be 2019 because yeah, it was like maybe 2018, 2019 that I picked this game up. Now, if you were to go to half price and try to find this game, it's probably going to be behind the case. This game, I don't actually know how much it retails for now on the secondhand market, but I do know that when I was like getting quotes for a trade, this game would have given me a pretty penny by now, and I was like confused about that. But yeah, it went up in value. So, now that I don't recommend going to half price as much, and I'm only going to say this because when I went to half price and I saw Rhythm Thief there, they wanted to sell this game. Probably CIB, I wasn't sure because I didn't open it, but had the case, probably had the game in there. So I'm assuming they had the manual in there too, if this game came with a manual. Over $300 they wanted it. I think it was like $350 they wanted that game at half price. I got this one not from half price. I got my copy somewhere else. But with that being said, they marked up that game way more than it being brand new and sealed from eBay prices. It is insane how much they marked it up. So no, I don't recommend going to places like half price and similar places like that unless you find something in the little bookshelf aisle area. But even then, those low dollar games like Nintendo Land on the Wii U, that used to be a $5 game, is now like double the price. So now it's $10 for it. So even like low value games, they're not that cheap to buy anymore. But you might be able to find some PC games if you guys are into collecting PC games. Speaking of half-price books, which by the way, none of the books are actually half-price. Don't know where that name came from. I went to another type of physical media store and I found Persona Q2 there. Granted, it was a little bit higher than eBay prices because it was $70 when I picked this up. But I saw it and I'm like, I never had this game before. I never seen it in the wild before. And I really justify buying games in the wild because I find them in the wild. Because had I picked up Rhythm Thief for $350 at half price, I would be a fool. I would have been a fool and a sucker. And they would have loved that. So no, we're not for that. Sorry guys, I'm not the kind of collector that has to collect everything that I see physically in person. I'm not about that life. I will tell you alternative options to buying it physical, which will be later in this video. But my justification for buying this, other than the fact that I do like Persona, was also the fact that it came with the little buttons. So this was probably part of someone's collector's edition, but it was just a game and the little buttons inside. So with that being said, I justify buying this for $70 because if I were to pay like $60 something or whatever it was on eBay, it would have just been the game and the case and maybe the manual, not the little buttons. So yeah. Okay, I keep bringing up Rhythm Thief, so we have to talk about it. Granted, these games I did not buy with my own money. These were gifted to me. These are my holy grail games. These are games that when I was looking them up on eBay for a CIB copy of them were over $120 or whatever it was. So, just putting it out there, I did not spend my own money on these games. They were gifted, but we're going to talk about how they gifted it to me. So, these were bought on eBay because whoever gifted them to me, they buy stuff on eBay on the regular, and I'm not an eBay user. I don't even have the app on my phone, okay? But you can do a make offer button if that's available. You can try doing the bidding thing, which I've never done because I always forget the bids. Or you can mistype the word, like have a little bit of a typo and see who is selling certain games. That's not going to really work for the high dollar games, but like if you're missing games in your collection and they're not that super high dollar, like mid-dollar tier, you can try misspelling a word or two, or sorry, misspelling a letter or two, and hopefully you can find one there that's more affordable or reasonable. So I would be doing you a disservice while talking about the reality of collecting, which is FOMO, which means the fear of missing out. So we're going to be talking about these. FOMO can lead to really bad shopping addiction, which is why I'm telling you and I am encouraging you guys to buy your games on sale. You're not going to miss out on every single thing, I promise you. But we cannot talk about collecting limited releases games without talking about FOMO. Because unfortunately, with brands like Limited Run, their whole thing is built upon FOMO. And unless you live in North Carolina or wherever their physical location store is, you're going to have a hard time trying to get these games on the secondhand market. Because people are just buying Limited Run games just because they're limited, only to sell them for astronomical prices. And it's insane. And it's so frustrating. And with the Switch being the newest console at this time, because the Switch 2 hasn't come out yet, I cannot justify paying more than MSRP for games. Like Mario 3D All-Star, this came out like a few years ago, and I've seen this everywhere at Targets and stuff like that. Did I pick this up? No. This was given to me because my friend who bought this game when it was still in stores bought a copy and gave it to me. And I never thought twice about it. Now that it's gone, the price of it basically doubled. Or, because you can find this game on Facebook Marketplace or at your video game store for like $100, or a few times $109, which, by the way, the game is already more than MSRP. It's already more than MSRP. You're already making profit at $100. Why do you need $9 extra? And I'm not talking about one specific video game store that I saw this done with. I'm talking about like a few of them. I've seen a few physical video game stores, retro video game stores, whatever you want to call them, sell this game for $9 more than $100. And let's not talk about not Best Buy. Let's not talk about GameStop, because as much as I love GameStop, what they did was egregious. Egregious. Because if you go on the if you go on the GameStop website and you look at this game, they're selling it for $120. Now, I do love me a GameStop, but not every game there is worth the price. So if you're able to pick up this game, I would say do not pay those astronomical prices, those scalper prices. But I am saying, with these limited release games, or these limited run games, if you know that they're coming out, and if you have the disposable income to buy the game, I will highly, highly suggest paying MSRP prices for them, because if you do not, they are going to go up in prices, and they are going to jump in prices. Now, you can wait until maybe they go back down in price, but honestly, I do not see that happening anytime soon. Not the way that scalpers and resellers are treating modern console games, as if they're really trying to speed run the whole market value process by trying to inflate the prices for Switch games, as if it's like an investment or whatever. Well, since I ragged on GameStop, I might as well talk about some of the good shit that I did pick up there. So these are like a very few selection of games that I picked up at GameStop. I picked up so much more, but first one, Okami Den. CIB. Game, manual, and the little insert back here, if you guys care about that. $50-something I picked this up. So with GameStop, I always ask if they have any retro games, and I always ask for a printed list of them, because that's what I like to do. If they're not out, I would rather look at all of them on a list so that I can see the name of the games and then also the prices. So I always do for GBA games, DS games, 3DS games, GameCube, PS2, PS3. Those are basically what I collect. Oh, and Wii, and maybe Wii U. But I rarely see Wii U games hidden in the back. They always have it out. So, yeah. When this game on eBay is like closer to $100 CIB for the English US copy of it, the North America copy of it, it's just crazy. Granted, there's a little bit of a flaw because there's a little bit tearing down here, but you know, I'm okay with it. It's a good, clean copy, and it's not a fake game. And I know some people said that GameStop has been selling them fake games and stuff like that. Let me tell you, do your due diligence. I'm not going to fault the GameStop workers because everyone is trying to get a job. The job market here is terrible. Not everyone can get a job, and you can get a job where you can. So even if that means you don't have a good passion, and it's hard. It is hard to be passionate about something like video games when you have to worry about a bunch of other shit, like when your next meal is going to be, if you're going to be able to pay your rent. Because, let's be honest, none of these places are paying anyone a livable wage. Which, the livable wage, if we're going to be honest, should be like $25 an hour, which sounds like a lot, but it's really not, depending on what area you live in. And I live in a pretty okay, affordable housing area, maybe, give or take. I can't afford shit, but... So no, I'm not going to sit here and rag on some GameStop employees for not wanting to hold a conversation because you guys are too introverted to actually go somewhere in a group setting where there's people like-minded like you who would want to listen to your conversation. Instead, you're kind of bringing it on the employee. Because I've seen this happen multiple times, not just video game stores, but also comic book stores. And I'm like watching the employee be like, uh-huh, Oh, that's interesting. Uh-huh. While the person's questioning them and quizzing them on, like, trivial shit, like, that this is not the time or place. Like, pay for your shit and get the out, like, honestly. As for, like, the times that GameStop had, like, fake games or selling fake games, because I've seen those YouTube videos, I'm sure you had too. I never got a fake game at GameStop, and to be honest, buyer beware. Buyer beware. Lately, when I picked up all of these Game Boy games, I had an employee bring out the specialty screwdrivers for the Game Boy game screws, because they're like 3-prong thingies, and wanted to prove to me that these games were legitimate and real. Luckily for me, I can tell which game is like a fake game, because I have repro games. Hell, my fucking Sacred Stones was a repro game. I got this one at GameStop, and I finally have a legitimate copy of this game, so now I don't need the repro game of it. Even though it kind of like plays the same way. It just makes me happy. And the fact that the employee would have taken it apart to show me the motherboard to make sure that it was real is going far above and beyond for me. And I didn't need that. And I appreciate it. Granted, I'm not saying every GameStop is going to do this. If you go to a GameStop at the mall where they don't really have a lot of retro game trades, they're not probably going to do that for you. And if you are lucky enough to find a retro video game at the mall, you have to do your due diligence to make sure that the game isn't fake. Not only do you need to voice with your dollar, but you as a consumer need to make sure you're doing your due diligence, because let's be honest, it's 2025. The economy is not consumer friendly. It's not consumer forward. It's all to appease shareholders. So that means you need to do your due diligence to make sure your games are not fake. There's plenty of YouTube videos to show you the difference between a real copy and a fake copy. And if you guys want me to show you how to tell the difference between a real and a fake repro GBA game, I can do that. I can also do that for a DS game. But there's so many ways to tell. So yeah. Here's a GameCube game that I got at GameStop. Double disc with the manual. I know at some point this game was pretty high dollar at the time, but I didn't pay no more than like, what, $40 for this game? And yeah, like it. And I'm going to show you the game that will always make me choose GameStop over any other video game store. And that's going to be Fossil Fighters Champion. I only paid $50-something for this game. Granted, it is loose. It's loose. I went to a GameStop, and as I was walking, I went to a GameStop, and I didn't find anything that I liked. So as I was walking out, because I saw this little boy, he wanted to buy Sonic Superstars, and he was going to get the digital card, and I'm like telling his grandmother there, because he was going to spend it with his birthday money, and I kind of felt bad because the digital version with the little gift card thingy would have been full price, so I tipped the grandmother off by telling her, like, hey, Target has that game on sale right now for about $30. I suggest you taking your grandson there. And if it's not there online, it's still going to be $30. So try to order it online, because I would really hate to see a little boy spend way too much money for a game that's on sale. And as I was walking out, because GameStop, I had one of those acrylic standees that I always pick up at GameStop for free, the pre-order bonus. I gave that to the little boy, the Sonic Superstar acrylic stand. In fact, this was the exact thing that I gave him. Granted, it was like new and sealed and everything like that. And oh my goodness, he gave me a hug. I love children so much, and I love helping people save their money, especially my own people. So I had to go in my car to give it to him, because that's where I left it, because I picked it up at another GameStop earlier that day. And as I was coming in, I saw that they had the little case where they had like their Game Boy games and DS games and stuff like that. They're loose shit. And yeah, I saw Fossil Fighters there, and it was like $50-something, and I'm like, hell yeah, I'm picking it up, because loose on eBay is like $99, $100, and this isn't the first time I've seen this game loose in person. I went to, a video game store, maybe like a Game Exchange or something like that, and they had this bitch for over $100 loose. So yeah, I'm not gonna hate on GameStop for that, because at least sometimes their prices are pretty fair. Now, 3D Mario All-Stars, that shit was not fair at all. Cooking Mama, I'm still mad at them on Cooking Mama, because why the hell is that game still $50-something and I need it in my collection? But like every now and again, finding like retro games like this, very, very nice. Actually, they had one of those, oh god, it was a GBA game, and it's an RPG game, and it has something to do with like it was solar powered, and it goes with the sun, and it affects the gameplay. They had that for, that one I believe they had that for maybe $100 or something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but that game itself goes for over $100. I just didn't pick it up because I don't like picking up games just because they're high dollar value games. Like, sometimes I want to pick up a game that I want to play, but I personally do not have the time to play a game like that. And if it's still there in like maybe next weekend when I feel like going out there, I'll try and hit up that GameStop to see if they still have that game. That was a long tangent. I am so sorry. So we're going to rapid fire through this section because I don't really have much to show, but if you're able to find a garage sale, I highly, highly suggest you going to a garage sale. This garage sale, I picked up a bunch of stuff, so I think I posted a video about that because that's the garage sale that I picked up that Wario figure that people are trying to sell for super expensive now. Or, not super expensive, but you know, more than what it was a few years ago. And I bought a bunch of that stuff from this guy. He's, like, kind of cute. I kind of miss him. I wish I got some information from him. But I wasn't looking my cutest, okay? I wasn't looking cute. But he was so cute. So cute. I forgot what I was saying. I got a bunch of games from him. And I got these little cases, which, by the way, I went to a video game store. And the prices that they had for cases like these were insane. I only paid like $1 or $2 for these little nostalgic Nintendo cases. So, like, the little backpack for your DS and the little Game Boy Advance side bag. So I didn't pay that much, but yeah, some video game stores will try to charge you like $10, $20 for this. We're not having that. But it's hard for me to find garage sales because, one, I live in an apartment complex. We're not doing garage sales here. And when I do find a garage sale, it's usually through Facebook Marketplace I've been searching for, but I didn't find this one at Facebook Marketplace. I found this one when I looked up garagesales.com or something like that and just put in my zip code, and that weekend there was like 3 different garage sales. So I went to that location first, which was like in a not the best neighborhood or anything like that, but his prices were very fair to me, and I liked him. I felt like I wanted to support him. And honestly, I'm not there to resell anything. I just wanted to buy stuff for my own personal collection, and he had plenty of stuff there. But when I went to the second garage sale location, yeah, they were clean. They were clean. In fact, I think a few weeks later, I tried going to another garage sale, and they have the times when the garage sale opens. So I get there right on time. Guess what? All sold out. Some dude comes there 2 hours. Let me tell you. If I die, or if I go crazy and I wanted to sell all of my collection, 1, the resale is going to go crazy for this shit. But 2, I'm going to make it a rule. You cannot come stalking where I live 2 hours before the time the garage sale is supposed to start. Like, that is such an invasion of privacy, for 1. And it's just really fucking... And I'm a girl? Yeah, no, we're not doing that here. But yeah, try your best with garage sales if you're able to go to any garage sale. Next one is probably similar to like garage sales where you kind of need to know in advance, but it's going to be swap meets. So I did do that swap meet video. So swap meets, I highly recommend you joining your Facebook groups of like video games or like toy shows and stuff like that for your city and stuff, because that's how you're going to find most of the announcements for those swap meets, because everyone is gatekeeping shit. Everyone is literally gatekeeping shit, and it's so insane. And then a lot of these swap meets don't have enough money to buy advertisements on Instagram, because I also sometimes see an Instagram post every now and again. Not enough money for advertisements, but also suggest you going on Instagram and following your local video game stores, because they might be either following conventions or following swap meet holds and helds and stuff like that. Or like a lot of the swap meets for these toy video game meetups are like at the bar where I live city-wise, but I've seen the next city over, their swap meets are usually in a mall, and those are free to attend. The one I go to, they're also free to attend, so you don't have to pay a ticket to go there. The other one that I went to, which was the arcade convention, they had a swap meet that happens every year, I believe, on Saturday, and that's free to attend. So I got a lot of my great deals at the swap meets. I'm not saying every swap meet is going to be a great deal, because most of these people, if you go to one swap meet, you kind of see the same faces for the next ones and the next ones and the next ones. A lot of them are just resellers and stuff like that, but there are some good people at swap meets that are trying to cut you a deal. And honestly, a lot of the swap meets, they don't bring their best stuff anyways. They're basically bringing stuff that they're trying to sell off or anything like that. I just got lucky with this, and because I bought so much from that one guy, I even got like a brand new seal Nintendo Labo kit for $15, so that was awesome. Oh, Yuri, you talk about swap meets. Why aren't you talking about flea markets? Because I don't go to flea markets for a good deal. The only time I got a good deal for video games at a flea market was The Calling. And that was like, we're in 2025, so this was probably like 2022, 2023-ish. I only paid like $34 for this game. This game is now $60. You can try. You can try, but for me personally, the flea markets in the city that I live in, a lot of these people, these are their full-time jobs. Even though flea markets are like over the weekend, with the exception of this one video game store that's like open almost every single day, even though the flea market is closed. This is like their livelihood. So I would suggest, if you are going to a flea market, or even like, what do you call it? The vintage stores, antique markets too, because I'm gonna group that too. With antique markets especially, I would say try finding vendors where video games are not gonna be their biggest thing. Like, you can tell if a vendor has like a bunch of designer stuff and a few video games, their focus is probably gonna be more on those designer things and not the video games. I'm not saying it's impossible, I'm just saying from my personal experience, in the city that I live in, they basically treat it like eBay, but in person. So I don't really get the good deals that a lot of people get. I'm not getting those garage sale prices at a flea market. So the next thing I'm going to talk about are pawn shops. So, first thing I picked up, this Nintendo DS Lite. It does come with a stylus, yes. No, it didn't come with the little dust covering. No, it didn't come with a charger. But for $50, when video game stores are trying to sell this for like over $100, closer to $200 I've seen sometimes, I'm not tripping. It's not hard to find a DS Lite charger. In fact, I should have a DS Lite charger somewhere in my room, because I do have a DS Lite that I was trying to reshell, and I need to go back reshelling it because I kind of like decided to give up at some point. So I had to do that. But I'm not hating. $50 for a DS Lite, not bad. This is an example of a video game that I picked up. I got Luigi's Mansion 2. Yes, they have prices on here. No, I did not pay $40 for this. In fact, it's kind of egregious to see the prices on here because according to this, November 4th, the game was on sale for $17. And it just kept going up in price. So, the latest price being February 7th, $32. But yeah, I got this for $20 actually. Because I was buying a bunch of games. And that's what you need to do with a lot of pawn shops. Is that if they have more than one thing that you want, try to buy multiple and then asking them how low they can do for each thing. That's what I've found to work out for me. And the pawn shop that I went to, that I got my DS Lite from, is the pawn shop that I got a bunch of those loose Switch games from. And I go there very often to buy stuff from him. So he always gives me a good deal because, honestly, video games is not the thing that he mainly sells. It's not. And I'm okay with that. And he's okay with giving me a deal. The only thing he can't give me deals on is sometimes he has to buy stuff from people because they want closer to retail price for stuff. So he does have to still make a profit, and not all the time can he cut a deal. But he had Mario 3D All-Stars loose for $30 when on Facebook Marketplace people were selling it for $80 loose. So yeah, did I pick that up? No, I didn't pick it up because I already had Mario 3D All-Stars. Why do I need another copy of it? But I could have given it to a friend or something like that, and I didn't think about that, so yeah. And I just started going to pawn shops late 2024, and I still managed to find a bunch of cool stuff. Like, they had a bunch of Labo kits. Most of them sealed and never been opened. Granted, the prices were very high and steep. Like, this one was $60. But I did ask them, like, were there wiggle room for this stuff? Because this price tag is old. Hell, this price tag... Are you kidding me? Oh no, rip it. So, according to this price tag, they had this for April 1st, 2023. So they had this for a while. And the regular price at the time was $99, which is already insane and egregious. Would I have bought it for $60? Yeah, still probably. It's sealed, man. But no, I still got a deal for it. So I was super happy about that. So I got all the Labo kits now because of it. Okay, so this one is very random. So I was on my way to a game exchange, and on my way to the game exchange, I parked the car and I saw the store next door to it, which was like, you know, a little children baby store. You know, the secondhand store for baby clothes, cribs, toys, and stuff like that for children. And something in my heart told me to stop in there because I knew for sure I was going to find anything at the game exchange. And spoiler alert, I didn't find shit at the game exchange. But that's okay. So I walked around that little baby store and, like, felt very nostalgic for all these little things that they had. It was a woman, an older woman, and she was super sweet. She also sells jewelry and stuff like that with, like, the little official tag and stuff. And this case, and in that case is where I found a 2DS. So this was on my list of things that I wanted to buy. And for the price I wanted to pay $60 for one of these because I wasn't wanted to pay, like, what is it? They're selling this for $120? Even GameStop is selling this shit for, like, $100 and stuff like that. And I didn't want to pay $100 for a door stopper. I just wanted a 2DS for the times I want to play, for the times I want to play my 3DS games and stuff like that without the risk of breaking my 2DS XL or my 3DS or my DS Lite because those hinges, I had a really bad history with hinges. So I picked this up and it was, drumroll please, $44. I got this for $44. And it came with, like, what, 3 games or something like that, which I traded the games. I didn't care for the games. One of them was, like, Happy Home Designer. I took the little amiibo card from it. Well, kind of, sort of ish. I'm not sure if it is an amiibo card, but, you know, it was Savannah. I got her from Happy Home Designer. But yeah, this with a bundle of games for $44. That was a really good deal. Like, this alone for $44 was great, and getting the games free was great. Again, I did trade those games, which I'm going to talk about right now. A great way to build up your collection is to trade games that you no longer play or want in your collection or have no sentimental value for you. Even though I picked up that 2DS with a bunch of games, like what, 3 or 4 games, I'm not buying stuff to trade to get new stuff all the time. It just so happened that it happened that way. And if it was games that I liked and would have kept, I would have kept them. But they weren't. And I would rather give those games to a shop where I can buy something that I'm looking forward to versus, trying to resell every individual game because, oh, I bought this game. I bought this 2DS and that means all these other games came for free. Like, I don't have that mindset. I'm here to help another person out, Like, help a fellow collector out. Have I had friends? Enough friends to do that with? Or, trade it off to a video game shop because at least I know that I will get something that I want from that shop. Which I did. I ended up picking up Fossil Fighters on a DS. The same day that I got Fossil Fighters Champions was also the same day I picked up that 2DS and a bunch of games, traded those games, and had enough trade credit to get this game that that seller at the shop was selling it. And I'm like, okay, the universe is telling me it is a Fossil Fighter day. The next place for you to build up your collection is going to be thrift stores. Now, I got these from several different thrift stores. So, I picked up Mario Galaxy, the official soundtrack, in a case from an eco thrift store. And it was also and I like eco thrift. So unlike Goodwill, where they do have colored tags, but none of the tags that you want to be on sale or ever on sale, Eco Thrift changes their colors like every 2 weeks. So you have a chance of finding something you want already on sale the week that you're getting it. So yeah, I picked this up. It is a little scratch, but nothing but a resurfacing could it fix. And yeah, I picked it up the same day that I picked up this Mario Galaxy 2. And this one doesn't have the manual. Not sure if it did come with the manual or not. Is it in rough condition? It's a little scratch, but nothing like too impossible to fix. Nothing too deep. And I say Goodwill, but really I mean the Goodwill bins. Not the Goodwill stores where it would be behind a glass case. Granted, I did show you that I got a plushie from Goodwill. But games? Oh, you gotta go to the bins. Okay, so I have anxiety. And the last time I went to the Goodwill bins by myself, I damn near cried because someone snatched something out of my hands I was just looking at, and that terrified the hell out of me. So now when I go to the Goodwill bins, I bring a friend. But I don't bring just any other friend because a friend with also social anxiety would not help me. I bring a male friend who isn't afraid to go into the bins like I am. So he pulled out this game and a bunch of other stuff that he wanted. And I was able to get this for like a few cents. So yeah, my city, we have 5 to 6 Goodwill bins. I keep going to the same one. I just go to the one that's closest to where I live. It doesn't matter what day out the week. It just depends if luck is on your side or not. But do not have the FOMO of you have to keep going to the Goodwill bins because you'll start seeing the same people at the bins every single day because this is their livelihood. They resell and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm not here for that. The next thing I got is this Wii controller. Classic Wii controller. Even though it says it was $20, I got this on sale for $50% off. So I got this for $10. It's brand new. It's sealed. And I don't like having sealed stuff. But it's sealed and everything like that. So I might just keep it like this and find a controller that's open so I can actually play with it. But yeah, This thrift store is just not a regular non-profit thrift store. This was like a Christian church thrift store, and honestly those thrift stores are some of my favorite thrift stores to go to. Not really for video game stuff, but in general you can find designer stuff for good prices and stuff like that. Like it's very nice. It's very nice. And if you're not religious, it's okay. You can still go there. If you need help, it's okay. You can go there. While Goodwill and Salvation Army are like selling used shirts with tags for like double the price and bullshit, you can just go to those Christian thrift stores. They're here to help out the community, and at least the money you're spending there is going back to the community. Last thing I have to show you from the thrift store is going to be this thing. Granted, it was sold as is. The only thing that was missing from this box was a USB Type-C cable to charge the cart. You can get those literally anywhere. And yes, even though the price does say $69.06, again, this is where you have to have a friend who has no shame in asking for a price lower. I have too much anxiety. If you are a person who does not care about asking for a lower price for something, be my guest. I am not that person, therefore I bring someone who's okay with doing that. And I got this for $50, so about $20 off. On that same vein, because I got the Mario, I felt like I needed the Luigi. This was around the time of like December and Black Friday. So the last thing I would say is to also check your Nintendo store online, because they had this on sale for about or a little bit less than I paid for that one at a thrift store. And yeah, do not hesitate for buying things from the Nintendo website. Do not hesitate buying things digitally if you need to buy things digitally. Especially those limited run games, they will become cheaper digitally than if you were to buy them physically. And there is no shame. There is no shame in buying things digitally, especially when the deals are good. At the end of the day, yes, those video game stores, those retro video game stores, have overhead costs to pay and everything like that. They got families and stuff to feed as well. But you, as a consumer, be mindful with your money. You do not need to blow your whole budget for one game or a few games. You can buy really good games on sale. In fact, with the Switch 2 coming out, a lot of Switch games are going on clearance. You can check at Walmart. I heard a few Walmarts are clearancing out Switch games, just not my local Walmarts, but I have seen it happen in like Discord servers and Reddit. Same thing with Target, which, by the way, both places are reverting back their DEI stuff, so that's hilarious. But yeah, getting your games on clearance or on sales and stuff like that, you do not need to buy and that's the thing I learned. Mario RPG, Mario Wonder. The only Mario game that didn't go on sale during holiday time was probably Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, but all those other Mario games, they were on sale. It would be Target, Best Buy. I'm not sure Walmart, because I don't shop at Walmart that often. But Staples? You can buy some games at Staples. I brought my Princess Peach Showtime brand new at Staples for like $30. And I'm glad, because I wasn't paying MSRP for a game that allegedly is pretty short and not the Princess Peach game that people were expecting. They were expecting Super Princess Peach and they didn't get that with Showtime. And that's okay. I want you guys to collect your collection fairly and affordably. You do not need to collect every single thing, and you do not need to collect a brand new game as soon as it comes out. Unless it's going to be one of those limited run games, as we talked about here. Or, you know, my Square Enix game, the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster, which was their second time re-releasing that shit. I got it at Best Buy for, like, Black Friday, and they ducked up my box. But that's okay. The game itself is okay, and it plays very fine. But yeah, those collection games, I do recommend you picking them up. I'm not sure if the Yu-Gi-Oh game is going to go on sale or not. I did pick one up for a friend, brand new, and everything like that. Just because, to me, it's a good deal. You're having, like, so many games. Granted, they're just, you know, ported into a Switch and you have all of the games in one place. But that's fine. I don't mind that. But yeah. Happy collecting, and I wish you guys the best of luck on your journey. Bye!